So yes, picking up where we left off, there's this like hidden room where they have like all the security things in case there's a blow up or a blowout, and you have to kind of like deal with the fuses, the circuit breaker or whatever, and she's able to. Our Jane character is able to. Well, so Simon makes it known. Sorry, I'm jumping all over the place. Sorry. But getting back to Emma and Simon, he lets her know that he had been bunking in there. Because she herself is shocked. She's like, didn't you leave? You signed that you were out of the lease. So how are you there? Only people that are living there and are on the lease can have access through their little bracelet, their sensor bracelet. And then it turns out that before, maybe he had an inkling that something was going to happen. He had asked the real estate realtor for a spare. So he's always had access to the house. And he admits to having duped her, tricked her into thinking that Edmund was trying to make amends with her. And he tries. He says, like, why can't we make this work? I'm willing to make this work. In my fantasy, you would tell Edmund to piss off, but you don't. Why him? Why not me? Again, the male toxicity here, the rivalry between both men. Why him, not me? He even admits that. He's like, don't turn me into that guy. I love you so much. We were happy. She's like, there's nothing to fix. She's just done. She's done with this relationship. And again, like I mentioned at the very beginning of this review, even though he technically falls into the category of good guy, he is also controlling in his own way of the relationship that she just does not see panning out well. For some reason, she accepts it from Edmund. I don't know why. Perhaps there's more of a larger attraction to him. Perhaps it's something that's sophisticated about him. Perhaps it's about, I don't know. We don't know. But she likes this messed up, controlling relationship from Edmund, but Simon, no. And she realizes that he's getting quite violent, and that he comes after her and shakes her by that scary staircase that I mentioned. And Simon mentions when they first see the house that there's no banisters. So there wasn't anything to grab onto. It's just that, I'm surprised nobody hurt themselves while they were living there. So as he shakes her and lets go, she falls and lands on her head. And as he tried to perhaps save her, he yanks on the pearls, and that's where the pearls come apart. And that pearl, that one hidden pearl that Jane later finds 3 years later, was kind of tucked under the tub. So she's piecing all this together. She's trying to get all these notes together. And via a surprise visit by Edmund, he visits Jane. Now he's dating Jane. And realizes that she has like this whole like very intricate mapping, kind of like almost as if. Now, I'm not 100% sure what she does professionally. I don't think that's made clear. I don't know if she's advertising herself, but she could have done a great. She could have taken a stab at being a FBI agent or something, because the way that she has this mapping on the wall of like photographs and notes and information, and they're all kind of pointing towards Edmund. She honestly could have been a successful detective if she wanted to. But he finds out and he's like, why are you doing this? Why are you investigating me? You were never like this again. Here comes the same speech of like, you were never like this before, indicating his former wife that no longer exists. She's not alive. But his new relationships, he doesn't even take into account that he's dealing with different people. He just visualizes his former wife, his deceased wife, and then he wants to so forcefully see that person in these people, and that's not who they are. They all have their own unique quirks, Emma was messy and very into florals. And Jane is a little more anal retentive. She's, you can see that she's very OCD when it comes to how she keeps her closet tidy with monochromatic colors. Everyone's different here. They just perhaps have a similarity to his former wife, but nonetheless, his own trauma, his own controlling issues. So she confronts him and tells him, like, I don't know what to think of you or suspect of you because everything kind of points towards you. What did happen to Emma? And as she's in the house, Jane, and drawing her own conclusions, something happens to her computer. She works from home. She works on this computer. There's glitches. And then she discovers that in this hidden marble wall that's sits behind her, there's a camera. And she notices it when she starts playing with the background. And she's like, she beelines for Edmund's firm, his office, bursts into there. Oh, that's what you've been doing, you pervert. You've been videoing me this entire time. I found the cameras. A whole outburst. And he's like, what are you talking about? It's not even connected to the internet. Yes, there are cameras, but that's for facial recognition. Again, there was a quick nod to all these apps, Facebook, and the facial recognition and where we're going. This is what I'm saying. It's kind of like scary because even though it's technically fictional now, who's to say in the future? So she's like, still, why are they there? It's supposed to recognize you. And again, hence with the bracelet and how everything is so hands-free. That's what I'm saying. Not to be devil's advocate, even though, yes, it comes with the luxury of everything being done for you, but then it comes with the consequences of sacrificing your privacy. And that is the constant theme throughout this entire miniseries. So she, for some reason, is still confused and asks Simon to come over. I think they're building on a friendship. Simon comes over, brings food and flowers, and kind of wants to make amends and apologizes how rude he was at the very beginning, because he was a very, looked like a zombie and was only thinking about his own former flame of Emma, and was really just rude as all hell. So he tries to make amends. They have a nice dinner. He starts reminiscing, and then we see the wheels are falling off. The screws are coming off, and we're starting to see that Simon is not 100% there, and he admits to what had happened. He even admits saying that the house didn't change Emma. Emma had always been that way, but the house ended up changing him, perhaps for the worse. And then he admits that, yeah, he was the culprit behind Emma's death. Accidental, perhaps, maybe not, maybe depending on how you see it. But he wanted for all fingers to point at Edmund because he was, again, still trying to size him up, one-up him, and because he felt jilted. He was like, I don't understand, what is the allure with this man? Why are you dating him too? Are you pregnant? Because I think she may have been pregnant, Emma, before her demise. So when Jane factors all this in, she's like, now I've let this man into my house. Oh crap. And then there's a chase. There's a panic room situation. She runs into that little security office, pretends that she's calling the cops. She has no phone on her, but she's trying to be smart here. And he starts, again, he's also doing the same things that Edmund would do, picturing the person from the past because she looks so much like her. He leaves, but he also admits saying, I have all the time in the world. I'm not leaving. I'm not going anywhere. Starts playing crazy music. Again, the house has moods, and starts breaking plates like a nut. And then finally, she's brave enough to leave the room, try to escape. And he kind of sideswipes her. They're having a scuffle. But this time around, he loses his balance and he falls to his death in the same way that Emma had lost her life. She slipped and fell and hit her head. So the biggest irony there, for him to have lost his life the same way. I think he grabbed her pearls. He had grabbed her pearls, but was facing the staircase, so he's the one that stumbles, and she manages to kind of stay in place. She calls Edmund. She lets him know what happens. He's willing to actually kind of lie for her. He's like, look, let's just say this happened, that happened. You found him like that, so you could avoid a trial and whatnot. But she presses for the truth. She doesn't want to deal with, and she wanted to kind of just find some form of justice for Emma's passing, and also arrest the people that needed to be arrested in her case. And so, with all the information that she's able to gather, they finally do finger the right person that had, raped her, and he serves time. She puts everything in order. And then towards the end, we see that, like, perhaps they're going to work it out between Edmund and Jane. And they seem to look like they're going towards a clinic. It seems as if she might abort the pregnancy. But she has a quick moment. She starts realizing, this is not what I want. And here's another controlling factor he mentions in the cab while on their way. He says, oh, we'll have children when we're both ready and when it's planned. Again, why are you making these decisions for her? So a light bulb goes off, and she's like, no, sorry. So although it looks like she's going in and she might, do the procedure of pills or whatnot to abort, she decides to write him a Dear John letter. I don't know if a lot of the people that watch me or even remember a Dear John letter, because now everybody just breaks up online via text and whatnot. So she really took the time, asked the nurse for a pen, and really writes out her emotions and lets him know. It's not that she's disappearing on him, but that she is no longer interested in escaping her life and living in that house, and perhaps even continuing with this relationship, that he's just not there emotionally to receive a new person and receive new change. In fact, that's one of the questions that you're bombarded with, a number of questions, which again, very reminiscent of Black Mirror. I believe there's a film that did release like 2 years ago that had that questionnaire kind of component, and very interesting. It was like a game, and you're watching a TV show at the same time. Hold on a sec. Yes, it's on Netflix, released in 2018, Bandersnatch, and it gives you a number of options. Not that this was a game, this was a questionnaire to kind of question a person's mindset constantly. You feel like just like a lab rat, but nonetheless, it gave me that type of vibes. And the audience doesn't select. In Bandersnatch, you can, and you see all these different scenarios play out. I thought it was a brilliant movie. I recommend it too. It's on Netflix. But nonetheless, that's one of the last questions that we see as we're watching this HBO miniseries. And she lets it be known that she is going to have the child. She's keeping the child. But them as a relationship, it just doesn't seem like it has a future unless he fixes himself. She gives the number of the same therapist that Emma had been seeing, and she started seeing, and she felt perhaps there are issues that he needs to work through before he even embraces change or embraces the thought of dating again, because what he's doing is unhealthy. Constantly replacing his former wife, his deceased wife, with new people, but again can't accept that they have their own sets of values and personality traits that are not of his deceased wife. We can see years pass by. She's had the child, and now she's moved on professionally. She's working with an organization that she found online called Stillbirth something. I forget the actual title, but she's in the process of healing and healing others with their issues of loss, via childbirth or lack thereof. So, and you can see that Edmund decides to seek the therapy and perhaps is open to change and fixing his problems. But then at the very end, we get a little like snippet of what is still happening, and the house is still being rented. So again, I guess habits die hard here. That's another popular saying. But I think he's still just not ready for that. You know, she appreciates her time in the house and appreciates that she was able to move on perhaps from her pain, that she was able to now have this child because the man is super smart. The man is an architect, for heaven's sake. So she's just, I guess she just have to pray that he doesn't turn out with issues. But because she has a son, it's a boy. And then the movie, or I'm sorry, the miniseries closes out with pictures of the names that were selected of the former pregnancies of both hers and Emma's. Really interesting story. I loved it. I thought it was exceptionally well acted and well written. It had a really good beat. Yeah, again, it's a mini series, an hour piece. It released in December, so I was able to binge watch it because a lot of shows on HBO will be like an episode a week. I loved it just like I love Scenes from a Marriage. I think when I see mini series like that, stories like this that resemble more of the human psyche are much more interesting to me, but that's just my personal taste level. I don't necessarily gravitate towards, the, yucks and everything is, perfected by the end of the movie and pretty much, gift wrapped to you in a nice pretty bow and everything is happily ever after. There's so many complexities of the human condition that I love to dissect. So if you're an audience member like myself and have this selective way of watching movies and shows, I really recommend it. I think it's perfect, honestly, and it definitely opens up the floodgates for an introspective conversation with perhaps your partner, with family, how society pushes these issues onto women and men, male toxicity, domineering, controlling relationships. It's just, honestly, I loved it through a psychological perspective. And a lot of people have also clocked this as being similar to Alfred Hitchcock's Vertigo. And I believe Polanski's The Tenant. I haven't seen either, but these are the things that I've heard online. But nonetheless, I hope you've enjoyed this review. I think it was definitely out of the box, which I love. And also the music too, selected, were very sophisticated. It was just so well done. I really do recommend it. And yeah, I hope it really gives you guys a different option for Valentine's Day. I think we're going to continue with the theme. I know that Valentine's Day is technically over now, but again, who's to say? People celebrate their birthdays all month long, all week long, so I will be back reviewing other non-traditional rom-coms, or not rom-coms, but non-traditional Valentines that I deem Valentine's worthy. So stay tuned for that. And another point that I want to make for this wonderful holiday of Valentine's Day on my love meter. Hold on a second. So, I prefer my pets. I guess you'll do XOXO and Be Mine. I would give it a B mine for interesting for the girl before. Very interesting, introspective miniseries. I recommend it streaming on Hbomax. Stay tuned for my other reviews, and until next time, kitties, if you like what you see, give us a like, leave us a comment down below. All constructive criticism is welcome. And if you'd like to follow me here on YouTube, hit the subscription button and the notification button. And until my next review, y'all. XOXO. Look how pretty this came out. I know I'm going on and on about it, but doesn't it look like kind of very Mattel-like? Like Barbie Mattel, you know? I know, I mean, I'm trying to like be out of the box, but certain things I do like, and just I'm impressed with my craftsmanship here. And again, yeah, if you like my background, let me know. What do you like about the background? Leave us a comment down below. And yes, till next time, y'all. XOXO. Nerdy girl. Happy Valentine's Day, y'all. Cheers. Yes, I love me some John Coltrane. You can also find a number of wonderful tracks on YouTube.